Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. We're just gonna give a few more seconds to see if people is still coming in. You can see the numbers climb on my side, so sometimes there's a bottleneck. So let's just give it a minute or so to see if, so that everybody can log in for us. Okay. I think we can start. Welcome to our foundation phase online class / webinar. We changed the name, so we call it online classes now. So yes, any further, let's start. Okay. So I'm Hilda Erasmus. I'm an education specialist for the foundation phase at Impact. So before we begin this online class, let's cover some of the basics. If you are struggling to hear me, make sure your audio is on and your speaker volume is turned up. You will automatically be muted when joining the session, so you won't be able to speak. Should you have any questions, you can ask the question in the question box below, or you can raise your hand. There's this little hand icon. You can click on the hand icon. Throughout the session, I will answer questions in the question box, and at the end, if you have any questions, you can ask the questions by raising your hand, and I'll give you an opportunity to speak. Good. Download this presentation and additional resources in the handout box below, or on your right. You will see there's the slides for this. You don't have to write down anything. Attendees are encouraged to ask questions and leave comments. However, irrelevant, inappropriate comments will result in the attendee being dismissed from the session. So if we did not get your question, please send an email to academics@impact.co.za. Then I will personally answer your question. Questions in the question box will be answered and made available afterwards. So if you did not receive the questions and answers, please send an email to info@impact.co.za. Visit Impact's website for the recordings of this session. There's our website, so you can get it there. COVID-19 online schooling. Okay, so let's begin. So 2 weeks ago, I did a session on grade R. So I focused on grade R, and today I will be focusing on grade 1. So if you missed last week's session, it's a good thing you're here now. If you want to go back, you can go to that on our website. You can download last week, 2 weeks ago presentation and go through that again to see what was discussed. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. So we will be looking at an overview, the school readiness. That's a big topic, and I put it in with grade 1 because it's such a big issue. If your child is not ready for school, then we will focus on home language, first additional language, mathematics, and life skills. Okay. The overview. The purpose of grade 1. So what's the purpose of grade 1? It's simple. It's to set the first stepping stone for the foundation phase. So actually grade 1, 2 and 3 are exactly the same subjects, except it gets more difficult, and then by the time when you get to grade 4, they should be able to read with understanding and write sentences, to complete exams and tests and all those kind of things. And the teachers there don't worry if your child can read or write. They assume that that is what they can do. If you're a homeschool mom, you will put the exam paper under your child's nose and they will have to start writing and reading with understanding. So foundation phase is a 3-year period where they should be able to read, write, and do basic mathematics. So they learn how to read and write. That's what you want at the end of grade 3. And to learn basic mathematics. So that is your big goal. And actually, none of the other subjects or anything really matters, because if you cannot read in your home language, you won't be able to read or write in your first additional language. The same with mathematics. If the basics are not set, you will have a child that do not know what to do. So you have 3 years to establish that. Now, grade 1 is the first stepping stone for that. That is where all the magic starts. The reading, the writing, and the mathematics. And if they skip out on this year or they fail, it's going to set them back for the next 12 years, 10 years, 11 years they have to go to school. This is a huge amount of information. It's easy for us to say, yes, they have to read and write and do mathematics, but it is a tremendous amount of information that that little brain have to process. And then you start asking questions to yourself. Is my child ready to absorb so much information? Will my child become bored if I keep him in grade R for another year? Will my child be able to keep up with the pace? The pace is, the curriculum is overloaded with information, and I think also a lot of unnecessary information. We want our kids to do a lot of things that might not necessarily be necessary. So before you want to start your child with grade R or grade 1, you must make sure that your child is ready for school. So that there's 5 key areas that should be in place. If they are not in place, your child will fall out on one of them and fall behind in the class. They would not be able to keep up with the pace. They will not be able to do the mathematics or the numbers or the letters or anything that you teach them up in grade 1. So let's look at the 5 key areas. Okay, the first one is physical and motor development. So we did that in the grade 1, the grade R with online class as well. So it's the gross motor skills, running, walking, skipping, all those need to be in place. Your fine motor skills, using scissors, doing zips, use cutlery, all that should be in place. If that's not in place, these are the 2 big ones. Your child will not be able to sit still, and they will not be able to use their fine motor skills, holding a pen, concentrate on anything you give them. Then the sensory development, touch different types of objects without whimpering. That should be in place as well. The perceptual development, visual and auditory should be in place. That's a lot of things. And taking care of themselves, get dressed, use the toilet. You cannot still give them sippy cups in grade 1 and help them get dressed. Okay, maybe you would once or twice, but that is something that they should be able to do themselves. So this is all the physical development. And the physical development is how they look, what they do, can they do balancing exercises, running around, skipping, explore the world around them. Did they play outside enough is actually the big question here. Did they play outside enough? So if they do and you feel they are fine, they can go on, you covered the first area. The second one is emotional and social development. Now, a lot of kids get held back in grade R because of this. They are not emotionally ready. The moment they get in grade 1, you put a pen in their hands, they start crying. It's too much. They are not ready for this, and they do not socialize with friends. They feel scared all the time. They don't feel that they belong. So this is also a big one. Emotionally well-adjusted children will have a greater chance of success. So there you can see the picture of the two girls. They look quite confident in going to school. They are friends. They are ready for this. And that is what you want in your child. You don't want a learner or a child that cries the moment you open a book in front of them. Then they will hate school from day one. Then they get along with their peers and they're willing to help them. So if they're in the home school system, it can be brothers or sisters. If your child is in a school, they should get along with friends. And if they see, hey, my friend fell off the jungle gym, then they rush over and help them. Express feelings and needs. So they must be able to say how they feel. I don't want to do this. This is too much. It's too difficult. If your child just cries and you don't know what's wrong, then you should think about the emotional and social development. They must be able to share. If you ask them to share your toys with your friend, they should say, yes, I will do that. They can sit still for longer than 10 minutes. There we get back to the gross motor skills again. The gross motor skills aren't developed. They won't be able to sit still for longer than 10 minutes and then concentrate on their work as well. So that is an important one. And yes, they must concentrate and then they must be able to deal with frustration. So sometimes a child will come to you or say, I cannot do this. My brain doesn't want to give me the answers. I don't know what to do. So, and that is dealing with frustration. The moment they start crying and don't know how to express themselves, they are not dealing with their frustration at all. Good. The third one is cognitive development. Can he or she make independent decisions and follow through? So sometimes they're very reliable on what others are doing and saying, and they want to do and say and be what others are like, but they have to make independent decisions. They have ideas of their own, so they must come up with an idea and say, I like my ideas, I'm going with my idea. They can follow simple directions and instructions, so you will point them in a direction. You give them instructions, usually 3 instructions in a row. Go to the kitchen, bring me the butter and the knife, and when you're done, you can go play outside or go give the blanket to your sister or something like that. So that should be follow simple directions or instructions, usually 3 in a row. Why? For the simple cause that most words that they start to read is 3-letter words, 2-letter words, 3-letter words, but we want them to follow 3 instructions in a row. So the moment they can do that, we like to play a game, orange, purple, yellow. What did I say? And they have to repeat after you, orange, purple, yellow. If they can remember that, that is the first basic structures of doing words. So cat, what did I say? Cat. Okay. 169, what did I say? 169. Well done. The moment I start swapping around letters or give it for you the other way around, you know you have to practice these. As soon as they can do 3 in a row, you can continue by giving them 4 instructions. So this is a very important thing that needs to be established before they go to grade 1, because this is the basics of reading and writing. Shows interest in learning. That is also one. I know when we were little, you wasn't supposed to read and write before you go to school. But if you see that your child shows interest in learning, go through with that. Sit with them. Okay, this is a letter. What letter is it? It's A. You can make it your own. You can leave it. You can do with the knowledge whatever you like. So they must be interested in learning. If they are not and only interested in playing outside, maybe you should let them play outside a little longer. You cannot let them play outside for the rest of their lives. Some children will do that if you give them the opportunity, but they should show a little interest in learning at least. Okay, the 4th one is language development. Should be able to communicate effectively in home language. Be able to sequence, so retell a story or set of events. That is also part of the sequence of the letters in a row. So if they retell a story, they need to do it from the beginning. There's a middle and the end. Those reflect back on your construction of words and sentences as well. So that is important. Usually when they start to write, they will start with the beginning of the sentence, and then they know how it should end off, but there's no middle in it. So they will have this wonderful story. They will start with the beginning, then they will end it, and then they will tell you something in the middle, because they thought of it later on. So it's very important that they could retell a story. Sorry. Identify similarities and differences between objects. So I want to say this is one of the most important ones that they should be able to do. Why? So we start with a simple one, and it seems like, why should they be able to do this? So the picture in the first block, look for the one that looks exactly the same in the other blocks. And they should be able to find it, and they should be able to recognize it and circle it or do whatever they should do. And this should get more and more difficult. And this is important because the next step will be really difficult ones that they need to find in a set of others, and they are twisted around and the wrong way around. But they have to recognize it. Why? Because you're giving them 26 letters of the alphabet. And it's written in a certain way. So if you look at that last picture, you will see that we could have dished the letters up differently for the learners. We could say the S is the other way around, or a N is the other way around. The N looks like a Z, or the M we write from left to right, not from the bottom to the top. So we could have dished up the letters to them in any way. Now they have to learn 26 letters of the alphabet written in a certain way. There are other ways you can write them, but we want them to understand that it's in a certain way. So that is why it is so important that they should be able to tell the differences or the similarities between objects. They have to see, okay, this is how it looks like, and that is the one that fits with the one in the first block. So you can do a lot of these exercises with your child. We also call it visual discrimination, to see if they are ready for school, ready for reading. If they can do these kind of exercises, they are pretty much ready, because they have to identify all 26 letters of the alphabet. Oh, and then we came and said, okay, now that we've got all the letters, we are going to introduce you some capital letters as well, and they are totally different than the lowercase letters that they learned initially. So that's 26 more that they have to know. Okay, the last one on school readiness is emotional maturity. They need to be independent, reasonable control over emotions, so no meltdowns and burst outs and really bad tantrums. That will still happen from time to time, but they should have reasonable control over their emotions. We cannot expect them to act like adults, but we can expect them to show some maturity. And then basic problem solving skills are also very important. They must be able to solve problems. Sequencing, they can see the boys building a pattern like the pattern below or above him. So that is basic problem skills. It's very important. And then they have to be confident. So that is the school readiness, shows responsibility towards their learning and handle separation well. You cannot drop off a grade 1 child, or if you homeschool, start on day 1 and they cling to you. Maybe if they go and play with a friend, if you're homeschooling, cling to your mommy, I don't want to go and play with him, I'm scared. That should be out of the way by now, so they should be able to be independent on their own. Okay, let's see if there's any questions on school readiness before we continue. There is a few. Okay, no questions. There's one, you registered your child on Friday. How long does it take for the books to get to me? I'm in KZN. You can send an email, but at this stage it is 7 to 10 working days that you can expect it to be. I think more to the 7 than to the 10, but yes, that it is. No other questions on our school readiness? Good. Okay, let's continue then. Let's see. Are you still there and awake? Maybe you should show your hands. Here's my hand. Show your hands. Click on your little hand icon so that I can see you're still there and still listening and still interested. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Nadine. Yes, and Marianne. Okay, nice to see you. I'll clear your hands. Good. Home language. So, this is one of the basic skills that you want your child to be able to do is home language. Be able to read and write at the end of grade 3. So what must they be able to do in grade 1? Now the first one is phonics. You need them to know the phonics off by heart for them to be able to read. So phonics lead to reading. You cannot teach a child to read. That they do on their own. You teach them phonics. That's something you can teach them. You cannot teach them how to read. You can teach them phonics. So you start with phonics, and there's little flashcards in our learning material. You cut them out and you put them in a little packet of phonics, and you play a game with the learners by telling them, you flip it over and you put one on top of the other, and they have to say what phonic it is as fast as they can. So that is important. So you flip the phonics over and they will start to recognize them, and the faster you can go, the faster they will learn how to read. Okay, so you do that every day. So they will start by 3 or 4 phonics, the first 3 or 4 they will identify, and those are usually the ones they remember the best. But then lastly you get to the more difficult ones, and remember there's 26 to remember now. So as you flip the phonics over, the first one that they've learned are engraved quite nicely, so they remember them very well. But the last ones are usually the ones they struggle with. And then you want them to read and carry on, and then your child don't know the W yet, or the V, or something like that. And there's a lot of words that contain that letter, and that will keep them back. So you do phonics every day in grade 1. For a whole year, you do that packet of phonic cards and you flip them over, and they do it. You play a game with it over and over and over again. You can put a timer and time them so that they can beat their own score every time. And then if they know their phonics off by heart, you can start putting the phonics next to each other by saying, okay, let's start. Phonic, phonic, phonic. Now you have 3 phonics. Now what do you see? And when they know the phonics off by heart, they will say it is whatever you put in front of them. Let's say cat. They will see it's a cat. I can read, and that is important. Then they will easily see which phonics that is and start reading words. If they don't know one of these phonics, they will read very slowly. And let's say it's cat, they will read. And then I have to think about the one in the middle. And when it's too long in between the letters that they need to focus before they put it together, they can't remember what they said. If they can say cat, it almost sounds like cat, and they will start listening, and then they will say the word out loud. So that is the basics of reading, is phonics. If your child cannot read very fast, and I'm talking about the end of grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, you go back to this step, you take your packet of phonics, and you play that game every day for a whole year. And I promise you, if you have a normal child, even maybe a special needs child will benefit from that, they will be able to read very well. Because that is what you want at the end of the day, is a child that can read quite fast with understanding. Good. So phonics leads to reading. The quicker they can recognize the phonics, the faster they will read. So that is actually all you have to do with reading in grade 1, is that phonics. It sounds simple, but it's not that simple. Okay, then remember to teach the explosive sound of each phonic and not the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I cringe every time that I hear that song, especially when the child gets to grade 1 and they come up to you and say, I can do the ABC, and they start singing that awful song, A, B, C, wonderful. But the moment you write it down, what will go through their mind if they see the word cat? So that is cat. C-A-T, because I know the alphabet, and I know cat, or I know how to do it. So now you put the word cat in front of them, and they will say that's a C, that's an A, and that's a T. So what is a C-A-T? I don't know what's C-A-T. So that is what they would hear. So I usually tell people, so it's not a T, so it's cat. And yes, that is what you should focus on, is those explosive sounds of each phonic. Okay, so let's move on. Now, if they start to read, it is important that you rather say, write an A instead of write an F for apple. Because, and I had it when I was in school, I teach for 10 years, grade 1. I had this little boy in my classroom, and he would say, I would go through all the phonics, all 26 of them, and I had this little cute picture cards of A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, D for um, donkey, and they was hanging on my wall. And as we go through the phonics, I would say, let's take B is for ball, B is for bat, B is for badger, B is for bargain, and we would think of words starting with a B. And that little boy was thinking in pictures. So he didn't see the B as something different. He would see the B as bull and the badger and all these other words, and he would associate almost 5 words with the letter B. So if I would tell him to write bull, he would write a B. And then I was like, but that's not bull. That is only a B. But in his head, he had this little picture pop up that B is for bull. So if I want to write bull, I need to write the B. And he would write B, and for him, because he imagined it in pictures, that was a bull. And like I said, he had almost 5 to 10 words, pictures linked to a letter. And I did some research on that, and then I realized, but you have to limit the associations as far as you can. So there's the cute little picture of the cat and the apple and the turtle. So this is cat. So that little boy would get all confused if I say, okay, write a C or a K for cat, or write a K for cat, write the A for apple, you would write the A, and write it for turtle, and what word do you see? So in his mind, there was a cat, an apple, and a turtle. So what does he see? He doesn't see anything. He doesn't read the word cat. So try to limit your associations. Rather say an A. So write B for write a B instead of write a B for ball or apple or for turtle. So just try to limit that. Children like to learn with pictures and all of that kind of stuff, but try to limit it as far as you can. Okay, is there anything on home language? Let's see. Any questions? Deandra, I see you have a question on our robotics curriculum. I will try to answer as best as I can. So yes, we do have robotics. You can start in grade 1. It's quite an expensive package. I am going to lie to you if I'm telling you what it is, but I think Marika will send you our information on the robotics, so you can start in grade R. It is totally separate from the curriculum, so it's not part of our curriculum or not part of the curriculum yet. They want to make it compulsory by I don't know when, but we started with that. And then yes, you can continue. You buy a package for grade 1, 2, and 3, I think. And then you build different stuff with that package throughout the years. You go onto the Lego, you use Lego Robotics, you go onto their website, and there will be information on exactly what you need to build with your child and how to build it. You ask if robotics is linked to IEB, correct? Not CAPS. None of them yet. So according to the Department of Education, CAPS or IEB, I don't think IEB have robotics either. It's not compulsory yet, but they want to start to make it compulsory in 20, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be compulsory by then. I think they said 2022. So we started with it. We think it's a great opportunity for learners to learn how to work in other ways than just the normal schooling. And also, yes, it's a different level of the brain that you open up for them, the technical part. That was usually our chess children, like I said. They do not want to do athletics and that kind of stuff. They would rather be involved in robotics. Okay, how do we submit assessments? Nadine, you can go on my Impact. Then you go to academics, capture per learner, and there you will be able to submit all the assessments. So you've got your memorandum and your portfolio book with all the assessments for the learners, and you do that with them, and afterwards you can just submit it there. Marika will just send it out for you. Should assessments be sent to Impact? No, we trust that you can do it on your own. You don't have to send it to us. How often are assessments done? Any time of the year. So we prefer that you do it 4 times a year after each term, but you can do it whenever you want, whenever you are finished with your learner. Okay, let's continue. First additional language. Listening and speaking. Best way to learn a new language is to listen to it. So that is quite important. If you teach a first additional language, you should speak it all the time in the classroom. Tell them stories. The best game to play is Simple Simon Says. I love that game. You pick a theme, you say, okay, let's do colors today. Simple Simon Says, touch something black, touch something green, and so on. And go outside with them, play it, touch a branch, touch the grass, touch a rock, and so you expand their vocabulary. So that is one of the best games to play. Children love it, and they listen to you in English or in Afrikaans. You can do it in Afrikaans as well, and you play Simple Simon Says. So they should listen to you. There's the little kids. Put your hands in the air, clap your hands 3 times, stamp your feet. All those are very important actions that they can do. And at the end of the day, they will be able to look at their friends, look at someone else and see, oh, this is what clap your hands means. And they will learn from their peers as well. Then we have mathematics. And I think people think I'm crazy and I'm going to tell them every time in every grade in the foundation phase is number sense, number sense, number sense. Why is it important? If number sense is the only thing you focus on, you're halfway there. So actually in grade 1, number sense is the only thing I think you should focus on. If you can establish number sense, then you set the foundation for mathematics. I think personally the first half of year of grade 1 should only focus on number sense. There's not enough number sense in the curriculum. They want us to focus on money, and they want us to focus on all the other things that is not important. Number sense. So what is number sense? That is the only numbers you will ever have to teach the learners, and that is the numbers 0 to 10. As easy as that. I think you should spend the first 10 weeks of the year by establishing these 10 numbers. So today is number 8, and we are going to 8 the whole week. Everything is going to be 8, and you do all activities around the number 8. And then when the 10 weeks is finished, you start over again with the number 0 up to number 10. That is the only numbers they will ever have to learn, because that is the only numbers in our hundreds cards, or in any number you get. There's only the number 0 up to 9 actually, because the 10 does contain the 0 as well, but that's the only numbers. That is as easy as that. We set the number 0 to 10, because the rest of the numbers is combinations of the number 0 and 10. And 11 is a 10 and a 1. The number 26 is 2 10s and a 6. Get to the pictures. So I get this often. My child is in grade 3 and cannot do adding and subtracting. She cannot count up to 100. So this tells me the basics are not set where it should have been in grade 1. So there's the pictures. Number sense is counting out and adding the right amount to the letter. So if you look at the picture in the top middle, there's a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. And that is number sense. A 3 is 3 little dots and 3 little Lego blocks and 3 little sticks and the number 3 on a domino, and you could put the dice in there as well. That is number 3. A 4 is an extra one. A 5 is an extra one. So what you want to do is, when you tell a child, show me the number 7, they should do this immediately. That's not that. They should do this immediately. Show me a number 9. They should do this immediately. They should be able to show you the number. They should be able to recognize the number and know exactly how much the number is. If you tell the child, show me number 9, and they show you number 9, and you say, take away 4, they should take away 4 immediately, or 4 on this side, or whatever they do. And how much do you have left? That will be 5. So if they know their numbers and exactly how many each number is worth, you're halfway there. And they should be able to do it fast, like the phonics. They should be able to say, that's a 7, that's a 6, that's a 3. You can do it through dot cards. There at the bottom you have the Uno cards with the dominoes. Dominoes are a very, very nice thing, because it's if you look at the 8 there, it's a 4 and a 4, a 6 and a 2. So it's the combinations of what makes up an 8, what makes up a 3. And that is what is important. So if you can set number sense, like I said, I think the first term should only focus on that and nothing else. Then you are halfway there, and teach that to your child as far as possible. Okay, any questions on mathematics? see. No questions. Good. Then we can continue. Life skills, the last one. Lead them to knowledge. This should be fun. I don't think there should be any life skills books at all. No worksheets, nothing. But there is, and we should work through them. So learn about different age-appropriate topics. If you can, skip the worksheets and go outside and explore, especially if you're a homeschool mom. You can skip those things. If you look at that worksheet, and no, the topic is about fruit and vegetables. You take your child to the shop and you buy some fruits and vegetables, you taste them, you tell them about it, and you skip the worksheets. I don't like worksheets at all. Go and explore. This should be fun. This should be a hands-on experience if you can. Unfortunately, in the schools, we give our parents evidence. Look, there are these heaps and heaps and heaps of work. Your child should be clever by now because we worked through all these worksheets, but he or she doesn't have an idea what's in there. So if your child is clued up with the topic, you can choose another topic to explore. So I had the privilege in as a grade 1 teacher to throw out one of my topics, and one of the topics for grade 1 is the night, the sky at night. So I posted to the grade 3 teacher and say she should do it because she's doing space as well, and I could choose any topic I like. And I chose ants, and did the children love that topic? So we went outside and we explored and look at it and look at the ants through a microscope and feed the ants and build an ant world, and the kids love the topic. So if your child is clued up with the topic, some of the topics do repeat, but you have to make sure that they know what's going on in the topic. So if you're a homeschool mom, just make sure or take a day or two on the topic, and then you can focus on another topic that might interest them more. And I usually say, look at what your child is interested right now. If they're outside exploring something, go with them, explore with them, make it a topic. It should be relevant, it should be fun. I don't personally feel that it should be locked up in books. It is skills, it's life skills. Okay, any questions? Let's check the question box. I have a question. How often that one did I do? Sex education was my concern with the CAPS curriculum. Is this still part of the curriculum? Yes, it is still part of the curriculum. Impact we have our point of view on that. We will send you a letter regarding that. That is from grade 4 onwards, and I think there's still debates going on. We didn't change our books, so those will still be the same for this year, and I think for next year as well. So it's not a concern right now. I don't think you should worry too much about it. My son is in grade 1. He enjoys to talk about the topics on life skills, but he does not want to do any activity on the life skills. I guess that's the worksheets. If he loves the topic and some of the activities are good, at this stage I'm rewriting the life skills books. So hopefully next year I'm rewriting grade 1 and 2. So next year when he gets to grade 2, the worksheets would be more fun, more there's more information in there. So hopefully those will help him to enjoy it more. But yes, if he doesn't want to do it and he knows what's going on and he do the assessments and he's doing good in the assessments, it's not always necessary to do the worksheets. Like I said, I don't like worksheets. Do you have to do all the pages in all the workbooks for all the subjects? I'm going to say no. Sometimes if your child understands the work and they are quite bored with it because they understand it that good, you can just check if they can do it very well and give them half of the page. You can do half of the sums on this page and then you can move on. And I'm talking about then they have to be able to do it fast and show you boredom because it's too easy. If they still struggle with it, yes, then I will say do all the pages in the book. Then they still need to learn. Thank you, Deandre. I think I say your name right. She said, thank you for your enthusiasm when teaching. Okay. Let's see if there's anyone. I see there's a few hands. Dave, I'm going to unmute you. Do you have a question for us? Dave Watson. Oh, there you are.
Hi, yeah, hi, good morning. I was just asking about to be kept up to date with that robotics when they're available and the costings and things like that. It was that section of your presentation.
Okay. Thank you. I think, Marika, I think it would be nice if we can see, if we can just send the robotics information to everybody with the questionnaire on this. I think it's a very valuable thing to have. Let's see if we can take one more question. Liz Roots, you do have a question? You are self-muted. I cannot unmute you. You are self-muted as well. Okay, some of you are self-muted, so I cannot unmute you from my side. Yes, I think that is all for today. If you have any further questions, you can send it to my MPAC, info@MPAC or academics@MPAC, and we will be more than willing to answer your questions. And then you must have a great day. See you in 2 weeks' time. Then I'll have one on grade 2. Thank you. Bye-bye.